I'm going to be fixing builds that my viewers sent in my Discord. Recently, I made a video where I fixed 5 of my worst builds in Minecraft, so I figured it would be an interesting twist to try to fix some of my viewers' houses instead. But there's just one problem. I'm actually not that great at building. I'm not bad, but compared to some of the super talented people in my Discord, I'm honestly just not that great. So I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to improve some of these builds. But yeah, let's get right into it, and let me know by the end of the video if you think I actually improved the builds, or if maybe I made them worse. Who knows? Alright, so let's get started. We got the first house. I copied it over so we could, you know, have like the original and the edited one, of course. Immediately, first thing that stands out to me with this house, way too much spruce. 2 ways to go about this: either change like the roof and the porch to something else, or change the wall to something else. I personally prefer changing the wall. I think it would look pretty good as oak, so I'm just gonna use world edit here and see what that would look like. And yeah, immediately, in my opinion, makes a huge difference to the house. Way too much spruce before, it looks better now. Let's clean up a couple, you know, extra things. And yeah, already, in my opinion, a pretty big improvement, but there's, of course, a lot more to do. We can texture it too, which is pretty simple. I'm gonna go for like stripped log, I think. We'll do it by hand, actually. I was gonna do world edit, we'll do it by hand. Hey, just something like that for like a bit of texture. Another thing I'm gonna do, I think I want scaffolding for windows instead of glass. It's kind of like a preference thing. I've been kind of leaning into it more recently. I like the way it looks. Gives the windows like a frame. And I think we're already making progress. I did want to try to keep the original like theme of the house and kind of like vibe of the house. So try not to change it too much. Yeah, super quick tip here. If you have path, always make sure that the block under isn't dirt. It's whatever block is on top. So, you know, carry the texture on, of course, just looks way better. All right, I already like it better, I think. Gonna get some more spruce details in, I think. It's probably like the biggest improvement we can do here. Also, texture this path real quick. I usually just use coarse dirt and podzol. I think fence gates might look good here. Some signs. Just trying to fill the shape up, really. Fill the walls. I think what I want to do is split this in half. I don't think I like how like long this window was. I don't know if I like these. Messing around with some flower pots around. Yeah, I'm not sure I like these, honestly. I think I prefer these over the windows instead. I like it. I think I like it. It's not bad. One more thing I don't particularly like. I don't know. I feel like you need at least like supports touching the ground for like a porch like this, you know? Maybe some trapdoors, perhaps. Some fence gates, kind of mix them in. Also, not really a fan of this. Probably just because it matches with the, you know, bottom part. Maybe something like this. Make a welcome mat. That's not bad. We're getting somewhere. Let's get a couple more windows around. There's only windows on the front, so okay. Well, maybe not there, you know. Couple more windows on the back. Let's get some leaves and some flowers. I think just add a bit of color to it. I think it's kind of the idea here. Should kind of do a lot, in my opinion. All right, put the lanterns, some plants, flower pot, all that stuff. I think we're about done here with this house. I'm gonna put some grass around. But yeah, I like it. Definite improvement. Just mix up the blocks a bit. It's kind of the main lesson for this house. Don't use all the same kind of wood and everything like that. But yeah, let's move on to the second house. See what we got. All right, so here we got house number 2. Not to be like too harsh or anything, but I think the overuse of deep slate kind of immediately jumps. I did not notice that. Kind of immediately jumps out to me. Also, this like being at the same like depth is a bit weird. Yeah, deep slate on both the roof and the walls is, you know, too much deep slate. Oak and deep slate also a bit too much contrast in my opinion. So I think I try to keep the block palette, but I think there's just too much deep slate, and I don't think the oak mixes well, so we might have to change that too. But let's I don't know where to start. I think I'm gonna make the walls spruce. That shouldn't be too difficult. By the way, to anyone watching, these are all sent in my Discord, so link down below to join the Discord if you maybe want to be in like the next one, because I'm probably gonna do this again. Probably something like that, but maybe not. Oh, this is gonna be an interesting one. I don't know how to fix this. All right, I think before I actually do this, I need to change the trim around this roof. I think that's a bigger issue, and it's kind of messing with the block palette a lot. So let's make this spruce. Also, I'm not sure about the shape. Oh, it's a 2-block center. That complicates things. If you make a tall roof, do not make the center 2 blocks, okay? If you make a roof that meets at a point like this, don't do it, because it really leads to some very weird stuff. Yeah, also not a fan of the roof shape, I guess. I did say in the announcement, by the way, that I might be a bit critical of the build, so, you know, don't get mad at me, all right? I'm gonna move this whole thing over, and I'm gonna give it a 1-block center. But I guess I said I would fix the build. This kind of, I feel like, almost counts as like completely like remaking it, but we're gonna move this over block. I'm sorry, it has to be done. It'll help a lot. Also adding depth here, of course, because it's too flat. Yeah, that shape is just a lot better. I might have to just completely delete the roof. Let's get rid of all the oak. All right, let's start with that. Also, I'm not sure what this overhang is doing, like on just parts of it and not other parts. And I don't know what happened here. No disrespect to the builder, but not sure what that chunk is doing there. I think that shape does look a lot better. This is also 2 blocks center. So yeah, I guess this house will be a bit smaller than the original one, but it needs to be centered on 1 block. There's just not a way to make this roof look good without doing it. Yeah, I'm just gonna lock in and fix this roof real quick, and then, you know, we'll see what else we can do. Another thing, the roof shape is like very inconsistent. For some reason, it goes up with stairs for the bottom 3. Like, there's 2 blocks and a stair, and there's 1 block, no stair, 2 blocks, and like 3 blocks. Yeah, bit of a mess of a roof here, I'm not gonna lie. No offense. I think I'm just gonna delete the roof and restart. All right, that is a good start. All right, what do we make this bottom floor? I guess right now we can figure that out. I'm thinking either oak, maybe like white wool. It just can't be deep slate. It's just too much deep slate. Even though like I'm kind of pushing how much I said I was gonna like keep the original vibe, but it just can't be deep slate. It's kind of a lot of spruce if I do that, but I think I can fix that with some windows, flower pots, that kind of thing. So yeah, I think we'll go with spruce, even though like it is a lot of spruce, but whatever. I think this roof is symmetrical, so I think I could just build a quarter of it and copy it, so I'm gonna do that. We're gonna do a bit of a gradient, I think. No, I think I'm already doing it, so yeah, we're doing a gradient. Looks good enough. I don't know. Of course, make sure they're all facing the same way. It's not bad. Let's copy that over. Another thing I'm gonna do is put like spruce underneath here, kind of hide the deep slate. Just does a lot in my opinion. I don't know. Something like that. Like here we could like get like a lantern maybe. Something like that. All right, let's copy this roof. All right, we got the like corners, I guess. We're just gonna do the middle, which shouldn't be too bad. I'm only doing the exterior for this, by the way. Like for every house. I'm not gonna do the interiors. Kind of just feels a bit out of the scope of this video. All right, we're getting there. I don't like this, really. I think I'm gonna off-center the door. It's kind of what I like doing. Then you can kind of... Alright, well, first of all, I like the door being like... I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. I like off-center the door because you can put a window, and it looks better in my opinion. Alright, it's already looking a lot better. Let's just kind of wrap this up here. Flower pots, some details, windows, that kind of thing. Should be pretty simple. The window placement on the original is a little bit questionable. I won't lie. Let's section up these walls a bit more so I can detail them better. Yeah, windows, flower pots, lanterns, I'm probably gonna call it. All right, I think that's what I'm gonna call it. I think it's all right. Not like my proudest work ever, like a 4 out of 10, low-key. But I'm happy with it. It's better than the original one. Mixed up the block variety a bit more, you know, added some depth to like certain parts. Pretty happy with it. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. All right, so we got a third house here. Not really a house, kind of like a lighthouse. Guess I got a house in the name. Whatever. Got a third build here. Really solid build, honestly. I really like this one. I like basically everything about it. I like the palette. I like the shape. Very cool build. I'm gonna try to think of some things I'd personally do different, but that's kind of probably not gonna be that easy. It's probably a quick one. The only thing that immediately jumps out to me is that I think I would divide these in like half. Like it is like, you know, like, I don't know how to explain it. Just do these windows somewhat differently than like it is in the current build. In the reference image that was used, they are like single, like open windows, but I think in the Minecraft scale, it looks kind of weird. Kind of like scaffolding, but I don't know. I mean, I think I like that. Maybe I don't. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like I set myself up to fail with this one. I will say this looks a bit empty. We'll maybe do something like this. Or even, maybe something like that. And it's raining. Huge. Yeah, maybe something like that. Like a bit of covering on the window. Down here, not 100% sure what I'd do differently. It already has a cover with this thing above it, so I don't know if I'd really put a covering on it. On the original build, it had like no path, so I think that's something easy you could do to kind of mix it with the landscape, even though I think this would probably be like on a more rocky sort of surface, but I don't know. I'll mix some mud in here too, why not? I genuinely don't know what I'm supposed to really fix with this house. Everything I feel like I do is going to be nitpicking. Yeah, I'm not sure I like the pale oak, actually. It kind of stands out next to the calcite because it's just a pink look to it, which is very obvious next to that, actually. Honestly, I think that's one thing I might change here. And this also has a yellow tint to it, so it really stands out next to the pale. It's such a nitpick, though. It's a really cool build. Yeah, it's such a nitpick, but I think I'm going to retexture it slightly, just how I would personally texture it. Not that the original texture is bad. I think it actually looks really good. Just like a personal preference sort of thing. Yeah, I don't even know if I prefer my texturing. It's such a nitpick, you know what I mean? But I did like set out to change at least something on every build. And I think it's the only thing that I personally would do differently in this. I This is a very cool build. I like it. I think this is a good spot to see like the difference between like the pink tint of the pale wood and the yellow tint of quartz. But like it doesn't even look bad because it's meant to be like weathered. You know, I'm assuming obviously. I think it does it, you know, the job pretty well. But you know, personally, I texture it slightly different. So that's what we're doing. All right, I think that's all the pale oak replaced. I do like the way it looks. I think I do like it a bit more. Let's compare. I think I like it slightly more. It kind of has a bit more of a rustic feel to it. Only other thing I think to change is like some stuff underneath the roof. I'll explain what I mean in a second. Obviously, like these, I should probably change to diorite. Which kind of fits better because I'm not using quartz. That's kind of about it, I think. I think I like the way this looks too. I don't know why. Just a small detail that I like. I might just have to call it there. I don't know if I can even count that as like fixing this build, to be honest, because I didn't do much. It's a very solid build. Actually, some leaves. I think I could use some leaves. I'll be honest. There we go. I thought of something. Okay, I think a couple trapdoors around good. Kind of feel like it's connecting something. Maybe. I like the way it looks. I don't know. All right, I think that's about all I got for this one. I'm not gonna lie. Not a huge improvement, if like at all, to be honest. I really like the original build here. I just chose it, figured it fit. I think I do like mine slightly more, but I think it just comes down to like the way I prefer the texture. A couple more leaves around, a few more fence gates. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. Maybe the next one will be a bit like, you know, I can actually fix it. All right, next up we got this absolutely horrible house from Semi. Like I don't know what he was doing when he built this. I don't even know what I'm gonna do to fix this because again, I'm trying to keep the spirit of the build. So gotta use the prismarine, of course. When I look at it, you know, nah, it's very roof heavy. I think is kind of a problem I have with this house. I don't know if that even makes sense. I don't think that makes sense. It just looks very, like, bad. Maybe that might be the simplest way to, you know? It's an interesting palette. Well, let's think of what we can do here. I feel like there needs to be something going on with the roof. Maybe I could put like a window up here or something. I'm not exactly sure where the middle would be here. This might not even help. If I manage to make this build worse, then, you know, that'd be pretty cool. I think that helps. Just bring up the roof a bit. This might be a simpler fix, I think. I think I like that more. I don't know. It's a very interesting, we'll call it interesting house, we'll say. It might just be the improvement. I don't know if I could do anything else to it, I'm not gonna lie. I find that, you know, these diamond blocks in it's pretty cool. What a beautiful interior. It's crazy. All right. Glaze aside. I don't know. Do we just call that? I feel like we call that as done, right? Wouldn't be complete without lanterns, though. It's a thing. A slab at the top, so I can't even really detail it. I think I'm just gonna call it that. I think that looks pretty good. Just bring up the roof a bit. That's probably all I'd really change on this house. Oh yeah, let's get to the next one. House number 5. All right, next we got this super cool house. I honestly, and again, anything I change with this will be a nitpick because I really like the way this house looks. This is super cool. I don't even really know what I'd change. I'm gonna think on this for a second here, and then we'll see. All right, actually, the first thing I see is I think I'd do this garage door slightly differently. First, usually I put like iron blocks behind these. You know what I mean? Something like that. But I think actually my issue with it is that it's 2 blocks tall. I don't think it looks bad at all. I'll get that out of the way. But I think just next to like a door, it looks like it should be like taller than a door, at least in my mind, at least. So I'm gonna make it 3 blocks tall here. Again, super nitpicky stuff. This is a really cool house. Hopefully no one cares that I'm like nitpicking their builds. I kind of said that in the announcement that like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna critique the builds a bit. But yeah, super cool build. Other than that though, like honestly, I'd maybe texture the roof, I guess. I wish there was better blocks to texture with brick, but I think I'd put a bit of granite in here. Let me see what it looks like. I really like this, honestly. Like the way they do the kind of like, sorry for my mouse a lot, by the way, I do that all the time. I like the way they did like this thing, you know? Losing my voice. My bad, chat. This video is like a bit different because, you know, it was inspired by like the video where I fixed my own builds. With that, I could like, I could kind of pick out builds that I thought just objectively sucked, you know what I mean? But like on this one, it's a bit tough because this is a good build, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of hard to know what to change with something like this because I have to change something, you know? And I mean, it was sent in the channel, so clearly the builder, maybe I'll put on screen at the beginning of these sections, by the way, is okay with me changing stuff. So, you know what I mean? But I don't know what to really change because I like this build. I think I do like the way the granite looks on it though. It gives it a bit of like a rundown sort of look. But again, that's probably not what the original build was going for. So you can't really like fault them for not texturing it. And again, granite isn't the best thing to texture brick with. Well, it is, but not because it's good, just because there's no better option. Sorry, I feel like I'm yapping a lot. I just gotta shut up. No one's trying to hear me speak here. But I think we're about done with that. I don't know what else I'd really add. Let me think on this for a second. Honestly, the only thing I think to add is like a few really niche like things that I usually put on like suburb houses, stuff like, you know, like control panel thing for like the garage door, a couple like security cameras sort of things around. And then other than that, I think that's literally all I got. I don't know what I could really do for this build that isn't already here, honestly. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it like that. Honestly, not improvement. It's the same build. I don't know what to do. Okay, I tried. I give it a shot. All right, when you sent the build to the channel and it was already really good, this must have been something you were expecting. Okay. But yeah, super cool build. Let's go to the next one. All right, next we have a bit of an interesting one. This house was actually built in Minecraft Classic and then converted to modern Minecraft. So I'm gonna try to change it in a way like I'm gonna try to keep basically the theme, but I'm gonna try to build it with blocks that I would use now if I were building this. I think that's kind of an interesting challenge. That's why I chose it. Looking at it though, immediately, you know, it's definitely an interesting build. I'm just gonna try to modernize it basically, I think. Let's start on the small house on the left though. I think I'm just gonna first change the roof to like better blocks. All right, that's the roof when they're done. I think I like the way it looks. Next up, I mean, it's kind of weird to like have a frame on it, but have it be flat. But I'll try to keep the look, I think. Maybe not, honestly. I think I'm gonna remove the frame, which will look bad at first, but it'll look good soon, I think. Trust the process, trust the process. I think I'm gonna use scaffolding for windows. Kind of fits this kind of vibe a bit more, in my opinion. All right, let's texture this foundation, and we'll move on to the actual house. All right, I'm replacing this path. I think that's the worst part of this, honestly. All right, pretty happy with the small house. Let's real quick fix this one up. I think I'm gonna keep it pretty similar. Okay, like in a sense. I mean, like. No, I'm not. Okay, let's whatever. Dirt roof, not a fan. Assuming it's just a limitation of the available blocks in the version that it was built in, you know. I'll make it a grass roof, I guess. Yeah, we'll do a grass moss kind of roof. Let's, I guess, try to keep the trim as oak, I guess. We'll see how it looks. Trying to make this one kind of quick because, like, I already spent a while and it's two buildings and it's like, I got other houses to do, you know. So let's get this one out of the way. All right, we're getting somewhere. Let's mix some moss in there, I guess, and maybe just some other like green blocks in general. I don't really know. Yeah, I just don't think dirt looked good, and then like if I'm going for a green roof, I don't think grass looks good either. So we'll like make custom, I guess. All right, I like that. I like the roof on that. I think we look better as spruce, but I think I'm gonna keep it oak for like the, you know, aura, I guess. Not sure what's going on with these walls. I guess just the best available blocks they got in this version, but I'm getting rid of the leaves. I apologize. Logs, obviously, could put them the other direction now, so we'll do that. We'll kind of shape everything, be up there going crazy. But yeah, we'll shape everything, something like that. All right, I kind of decided to just gut the walls of this house. I just think it'll be easier to start from nothing. The original one used sand. I think I'm gonna try to keep like a similar theme. I'll go for sandstone, I think. I'm probably gonna give it a bit of depth as well. We'll see how it looks. I'm just gonna world out this for now. Yes, there will be basically no interior on that part, but whatever. You know, it's fine. I think I'm gonna replace this bottom oak part with stone. I didn't want to originally, but I think it'll just look better. I'm just getting a bunch of details in, and we'll see what we're working with after. All right, I think here I'll put a fence with some flower pots, and I think I'll call it on this house. Too much work. Nah, I'm kidding. It's just like about kind of as far as I want to go with it. All right, I'm gonna call it with that. Looks way better than the first one, obviously, but that's not the, oh my god, there's a hole in the roof. But yeah, it looks a lot better than the original one, but that's not like the craziest thing ever to build using blocks from like 15 years ago. Yeah, let's move on to the next house. Hopefully it'll be a, wow. But yeah, let's move on to the next house. Hopefully it's a bit easier than this one, because this one took kind of a minute, I'm not gonna lie. All right, so we have the next house here. I think this is the final house of the video that I plan on fixing. ending it with a banger. We'll go with that. End it with a banger here. Lot of things to fix on this house. I think it's actually a good example of just some solid build tips I can give here. Immediately, first thing I notice, interesting block palette. I like the prismarine. I don't like the cyan in there. It doesn't quite blend well like that. The walls doesn't exactly blend. You know what I mean? Not to again like insult the builder or anything, but you know, doesn't quite blend. And then the back is also this block changes colors. Like I said, it's gonna look worse or better depending on what color it is. But the back, you never do this. It's not like usually the best way to do it. You extend one across and then you make it like kind of meet up. But I don't even know where to start on this. I'm not gonna lie. Landscape also could use some work, but I don't know where to start on this. I'm gonna try to keep a similar palette though. Let's just get rid of this part first. At least it's a solid at least it's an odd block center on the roof. But that's kind of where my, I don't even want to say praise because it wasn't really praise, but that's where my like good things end. Wow, I sound really mean. I don't want to be mean. I think it might be best to just delete the roof and restart. I think that's what I'm gonna do because it's very difficult to build over something. But yeah, last house of the video. Let me know if you think I did a good job or not. I don't know. Originally I planned on doing more, but you know, it's 3 in the morning. I'm trying to get this up tomorrow morning, so got a long night of editing ahead of me. But yeah, let's try to fix this house up. First, by just fixing the roof shape. Kind of a issue with this is it goes up at like very inconsistent rates. It goes up steep here, and it shallows out, and then it goes up steep again, and then there's a point. You know what I mean? Usually I think it's better to make it start slow and then go up steeper. I'm talking a lot, my bad. As much as I hate Blackstone, I'm gonna use it. I think just such an ugly block. Outclassed by deep slate in every way. Just kind of irrelevant. Add some height variation too. We'll make this back part a bit lower. We'll make this one curve out. Why not? You know, try something different. All right, anyway, this is an example of how I would connect these two roofs. Instead of this thing over here where it kind of curves around, you just kind of view it as 2 rectangles. So you have the main rectangle, and then there's like an offshoot rectangle. So you just pretend that it goes all the way through here. You build another roof kind of arch, I guess you call it. I don't know. Or another roof frame, we'll call it, over on the other side. And then it makes it way easier to connect it. See, basically this main rectangle, and this will come off the side of it. It'll look way better. I'll show you what I mean in a second. All right, yeah, it's already way better shape-wise. His walls are really interesting, I'll say that. You know, we'll go with that. Let's just, you know, get rid of these here, you know. They were not missed. Yeah, this house, I think, requires a complete, like, gutting and rebuilding. Wonderful weather. But all right, we have literally just the roof frame now, and I think it is already an improvement. Nah, that's hater. That's hater energy. I don't really like the idea of frames on builds that don't have depth, so I think I might have to add depth to it. Maybe not, though. We'll see. Get lighter at the top. All right, let me just completely like gut these details. Let's get these details out of here. All right, let's get out of here. All right, the original house has this very amazing looking palette going on there. So I think what I'm gonna do is try to go for like, you know, keep the aura of it. You know what I mean? We'll go for a light gray to white gradient. Probably something like this. Let's see what I got going there. See what I mean? Like something like that. It's not really much of a gradient. It doesn't really gradient well. It's kind of like a hard line, but I think it's fine. Let's get that in over the whole wall. We'll see what it looks like. All right, that's the walls in. Obviously, I gotta put windows and stuff on them, but you know, I don't hate it. Let's get the roof in now. I love prismarine. I think I'll start with dark prismarine at the bottom. I'm just gonna lock in. I'm gonna stop commentating. I'm just gonna log in. Oh my god, I forgot a wall. I'm actually gonna like, I don't even know, man. Crash out. Wonderful weather. There's no way this video comes out the day that I wanted it to. We'll see how it goes. If it does, you gotta subscribe. If this video comes out on June 5th, at least East Coast, you gotta subscribe. Like that'll be crazy. Sorry, I'm gonna shut up. Start with some deep slate at the bottom, but we'll, yeah, not all of it. It's just the greatest day of my life. Prismarine is just truly a miserable block. Just, I don't even know how else to describe it. Just truly a block of all time, for sure. Just one of them. I'm gonna blend this, by the way. All right, there's gonna be a block between these. I don't know what yet. Something will work. Oh, wait a minute. We might have something here. Wait a minute. Yep. It's good enough to me, man. Good enough to me. Speaking of good enough, if you're enjoying the content, you know, consider checking out the Patreon. I really appreciate it. There's a couple rewards on there that I'm sure are good enough for you, you know. though, I appreciate anyone who's on the Patreon. You know, the goats. I think that's kind of where I'm gonna call it for the roof. You know, perfect looking roof, not a single flaw with it at all, and it looks absolutely amazing. Good windows in, door, flower pots, and I'm done. I'm sorry, man. I'm having a blast right now, if you guys can't tell. I'm not even keeping the mod shaft, man. I'm covering it up. What mod shaft? What are you talking about? Just making stuff up now, man. That's crazy. Lying for no reason. I was gonna say I call it, but I'm gonna put a couple lanterns. Wow, what is going on here? Put a couple lanterns around, and then I'm calling it. Right? Then I'm calling it. All right, I'm done. That's it. That's the final build. Wow, what a day, man. Oh yeah, it's final build. I am pretty happy with the way it came out. Like, I'm gonna stop complaining, even though that took absolutely ages. I like the house itself. I could have done more for the you know, the porch, whatever. But house itself, good improvement. I'll say, I'll take it. I forgot that. Oh my god, I'm just copying this. Actually, no, I'm not gonna copy it. I'm gonna make an amazing thing, and then we're gonna do the like end fly thing, you know. As I'm building this, it's randomly gonna cut to like footage of like while the houses are going by and shaders, and you'll only see this chimney at the end, like shader thing. It's gonna be done by then, like whoa, in like 3, 2, 1. So that's about it. We got a quick shader look for every house here, just, you know, real quick going through them. I really appreciate everyone who sent their builds for this video. I'm absolutely exhausted, but you know, very, very long recording. I think it was pretty interesting. Got some pretty cool builds here. But yeah, join the Patreon, join the Discord, like the video, all that stuff, and yeah, I'll see you guys next one. Thanks for watching. And as always, thank you to my $8 patrons, Aelic, Amarali, Dragon, ThaMango, Luke D007, Tommi, Cass, and E. I really appreciate your support, and yeah, I'll see you guys next one.